That one was telegraphed.
He was sacked 55 times that season, by far the most in his career up to that point. Bledsoe threw 17 of his 21 picks in the second half of the year, while the offense failed to score more than 20 points in any of their last 8 games. 5 turnovers in a Week 11 loss to Miami, and 7 against Philly in Week 15 buried New England.
Bledsoe has thrown 4 interceptions today. The Patriots turned the ball over 7 times. The Patriots have come up with their worst performance in years.
Passing fell from nearly 271 yards a game to just under 184. Points per game dropped from 24 before the bye to 14 afterward, and as a result, Carroll was fired.
And the Eagles are humiliating the 49ers.
Even more impressively, they did this without Reggie White, who left in free agency before the season. Rich Kotite's team started 7-2, then lost 7 straight games.
Jeffrey Lurie is his first year owning the team, and he has a head coach who starts 7-2, pining for new money, new contract.
And Lurie basically said, we're not going to talk any contracts for any coaches at that time. At that point, the coaches all knew that they were getting fired.
And then all of a sudden, instead of being Vince Lombardi, Rich Kotite turns back and
In 2018, Cam Newton missed the season's final 2 games. Maybe that was helpful, considering Newton contributed to a -7 turnover differential in the Panthers' final 8 contests.
This pass is picked off. It's the second interception for the Tampa Bay Bucks today. From the 44-yard line of Tampa Bay, Newton picked off for the 3rd time.
That late-game pick sealed Carolina's 4th consecutive loss after a 6-2 start to the season, but that didn't just happen once. Newton arguably cost Carolina another game in Week 14.
It's intercepted, and the Browns.
Playoff picture.
2-point conversion attempt for Carolina. Newton looking, loads of time. He throws incomplete.
That was a bad. And it is no good.
Is up. The kick. It's through.
Collapsed 2, allowing over 160 rushing yards. 2 and Brett Favre and the Jets demolished the eventual NFC champs and the 10-0 Titans.
You're a Jet fan, they're 8-3, you're pumped up.
This team looked Super Bowl ready. They were clearly the class of the AFC.
After the economy collapsed in 2008, one of New York's football teams had to follow suit. New York lost 4 of their last 5 and missed the playoffs. The cause looked to the run defense. In their last 5 games, the Jets allowed 132 rushing yards per contest, up from 78 the first 11 matchups. They lost 3 of their final 5 games to teams that finished below 500. New York took a dive offensively too, as scoring went down from 29 to 16 points per game. Gardner both won Rookie of the Year, and running back Breece Hall looked like a stud through 7 weeks before tearing his ACL. And that's when things started to fall apart for the once 7-4 Jets. After a monster win against the vaunted Bills in Week 9, this happened.
Here he goes. He's going to try to beat the putter. He does. He's gone. And that is a touchdown. The way this game has gone, and that's how this thing's going to finish.
The offense struggled mightily, with 3 different quarterbacks combining to throw for just 14 touchdowns. From weeks 4 to 7, New York recorded only 2 passing touchdowns, with 1 thrown by a wide receiver. The defense was outstanding all year, 4th best in the NFL, but even they couldn't overcome the tidal wave that was the final 7 weeks of that season.
From 58 yards away, Zerline's kick. No good! The Lions hold on!
From 50 yards out of the hold of Mostert. On the way, down the middle, with distance. The drought is over.
6 straight losses to close out the season. The offense scored a combined 15 points over their final 3 games, missing out on a playoff spot after a Week 17 loss to Seattle. Don Shula, the winningest coach in NFL history, but he also owns an improbable in-season collapse. To be fair, he didn't have Dan Marino for their final 11 games due to an Achilles injury.
There could be something critically wrong with Dan Marino.
He is in pain.
Now the backup has to step up. Scott Mitchell.
Direct snap to Mitchell, steps up, throws deep over the middle, he's got Kirby!
Nevertheless, this team reached unprecedented heights.
This is the only team that has ever started 9-2 and did not.
several narrow defeats.
Over the top and intercepted!
And he does it. It is a touchdown! Good snap, good hold. And the kick is blocked! And the Raiders have beaten the Steelers!
Ball comes out! Smith-Schuster coughed it up! And this one goes into the books the wrong way.
The Steelers dropped 4 of their last 6 games by a combined 16 points, falling short of the playoffs. As prolific as Roethlisberger was, he also paced the NFL in interceptions. Pittsburgh turned it over 11 times in the final 6 games.
Roethlisberger throws over the middle, intercepted by Sean Williams. Middle of the field, all kinds of room. Ball comes out of his hands. Here it is, 2nd and 10. Over the top, and it's picked off. Throws a little pop pass. It's intercepted. It's intercepted.
Even though they beat the eventual Super Bowl champs in Week 15, 7 of their 9 wins in 2018 came against teams with a losing record. In 2000, future Hall of Famers Deion Sanders, Bruce Smith, and Andre Reed joined Champ Bailey, LeVar Arrington, and Darrell Green in Washington. This dream team started hot at 6-2, beating both Super Bowl participants that year.
Collins down the middle, knocked away and picked off by Sanders.
As he goes to 2nd and 7, and a big hole for Davis. One man to beat. Brian Wilson, and he can't get him. Touchdown, Davis.
But after falling to 7-6, second-year owner Dan Snyder fired head coach Norv Turner. Terry Robisky took over, finished the year at 8-8. But how did this all happen? Well, they just couldn't put up points. Their 24th-ranked scoring offense was led by Brad Johnson and Jeff George, who combined for 18 touchdowns against 21 interceptions.
Lines up to the left. Jeff George going underneath. It's tipped and intercepted. They've got to put points on.
Johnson under pressure, gets the pass away, it's deflected, and picked off! They need a touchdown. Johnson to the near side, Irvin Fryer had it, lost it, it's intercepted! Johnson over the top.
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
The Falcons just sit there in disbelief.
Like Super Bowl 51, the 2015 campaign was a story of late-game losses.
Snap spot, kick is away, and he made it. Here's Ryan to his left, now back to his right, trying to buy himself some time. He'll set, put a lot of air under it. Let's see, can they tip it? No, instead Fleener will intercept it. At the horn, the ball game's over.
Ryan, pressure, Ryan gets room, but incomplete, Tampa Bay wins it.
Matt gonna launch, intercepted, Levante David trying to go to Julio Jones. Saints with it.
The defense started strong in 2015, allowing under 79 rushing yards per game through Week 7, but that number skyrocketed to over 125 their last 9 matchups. Atlanta ranked dead last in sacks.
3. And it's intercepted.
6 points per game. The after receptions were sky high from 7 and a 12 for their last 9. After a Super Bowl in 2007 and a 12-win season in 2008, expectations were sky high for the G-Men in 2009. Tom Coughlin's squad was undefeated through 5 games, averaging over 30 points per game. They were firing on all cylinders.
Manningham on the outside makes a move down the sideline, still going with blockers for the touchdown. Good protection. Eli with time. Wide open is Smith. And he will dive into the end zone.
Little screen that Dean Nix does not get a block, but shakes out of a tackle. And there goes Dix down the left sideline. 25, 20, 10. Cuts back at the 5 and walks into the end zone for a touchdown.
The defense, though, was another story. But by season's end, they were the 30th ranked scoring defense in the NFL.
28 seconds. Rivers heaves it to the end zone. Open Jackson! Touchdown, San Diego!
The floodgates were starting to open, but at 8-6, the Giants still had a playoff shot. Hosting Carolina in Week 16, the final game at Giants Stadium, New York was absolutely dominated.
Hand off to Stewart, room to run. A lot of room to run. Gets a block from Steve Smith for the touchdown.
3rd down and 7. Moore floats it for Muhammad. Touchdown, Carolina. Last Sunday night, here's Smith. Survives the hit and has a touchdown.
Auckland's team won just 3 of their last 11 games and finished 8-8 out of playoffs. They gave up over 32 points per game in that stretch. Journeyman head coach Mike White and the 95 Raiders had high hopes after an 8-2 start. The AFC's 1 seed was a serious possibility in their first year back in Oakland.
Into the open field. Hobbs with 1 man to beat. And Hobbs will get in for the score.
Costello right side, Tim Brown.
Back and the Dolphins seem to be slumping back. Look at this long ball in the end zone. The Rocket. To the left is Rocket. Going on for the Rocket. He gets in again. The Rocket has the ball and it's over. It's over. The Rocket has it in the open field.
They averaged over 25 points per game through their first 10, and then it all went downhill. 6 straight losses to end the year, including 4 divisional games.
Evans has it. Evans throws, intercepted. This could go for a touchdown, Brian Washington.
Despite the slump, Oakland still had a win, and
it is good. One desperation attempt. Evans got the arm, and it's Tim Brown going deep along with Ismael. And down it goes, and with it, the hopes of the Oakland Raiders.
How could this happen? Ball security was a huge factor. The Raiders' turnover margin flipped from a +10 through their first 10 games to a -11 in their last 6. All 8 of their losses were to teams who finished 500 or better, a sad ending for the Silver and Black. A year after making the Super Bowl, Dick Vermeil's Philadelphia Eagles were ready to take the next step.
We're no longer, the free agents and the 7th-round draft choices and the nobodies that they've been trying to call us for the last few years.
In 1980,
And Lowe's going deep down the far side as the ball is...
Kick is up. It's over. It's over. The San Diego Chargers win the game.
but this inexperienced San Diego team failed to close, leading to an 8-8 finish.
Bolger throwing on the right. Touchdown. Breeze pumping, looks backside. Intercepted. And that's it. What a rally.
Bledsoe, handoff. Henry cuts it to the outside. Travis Henry down the sideline.
They get it down inside. And it's gone. Breeze pumps underneath. It's caught. Caldwell loses it. The Chiefs have it. And that should do it.
It's up. It's good. The Seattle Seahawks have beaten the San Diego Chargers in overtime.
After their 6-1 start, the Chargers surrendered nearly 430 yards per game, 1,000 Redskins earlier, but his first collapse in Washington came in 1996. They began the year 7-1.